regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Chickasha Public School District 26I001. The meeting was properly posted in compliance with the Oklahoma Open Meetings Act 25 OS Sections 301 to 314, and the time is 6:03. Item 2, roll call.
Here. Here.
Here. Item 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4 is public comment. We have none tonight. Item 5 is the superintendent's report.
Well, I'd like to say welcome back. Teachers reported back today. Everyone had fun today with all those teachers coming back. Looked like you guys were having fun. And we're in the final prep for the start of the school year. We'd like to say also thank you to our lawn crew. I don't know about you guys, but I think our lawn crew is doing an outstanding job.
Yes, buildings look great.
Keeping up with everything.
Absolutely.
And, it's hot, it's humid, it's muggy.
Is
It's
it?
not good. Yeah, I've had a bad hair day. Anyway, just a great job to all of them, and especially working out there. Convocation will kick off the next new school year starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. The auditorium at the Activity Center. Seniors Riley Weber and Ramsey Jansen will be our hosts. And we're excited to be joined by our Palm and Cheer squads. The Pride of CHS marching band will be there, special guests and more. And following that, we have a tailgate luncheon being sponsored by Mid-First Bank and Head Country Barbecue. I'm appreciative of them for that. In case you didn't make it, Night of Champions was hosted last night at Memorial Stadium. It was a fun evening as you got to meet all the athletes from our ball team sports, witness a new event called Night of Champions with our football players, which is from strength and conditioning and more as we gear up for the fall sports. Quick update on the strategic plan. We have created
That was
I like
lovely.
the effect.
Lovely.
I like it.
for background.
I liked it.
Leading
Yeah.
into
That new position. Is it musical?
That's not.
Great
Ms.
job.
Snow might want to sing for us. I was gonna hear it. We created a new position to help teachers with their certifications, and one of those are instructional support specialists, and should be working with them on professional development, professional growth and certification for teaching. Bond issue, it called for a bond issue to be voted on and brought to the patrons. That will be done 2 weeks from tomorrow. It addresses all facilities, and I did not turn on my microphone. We are still waiting on final test scores from our student achievement goals to be set. And then beginning in October, we'll have our first updates for the strategic plan coming from our different committees and groups. Not yet. Hold on to that thought. We're getting there. Something that's kind of important, and we're trying to get the information out to our high school kids, is that the federal government is ending free meals for all students this year. And so all of our sites, except for the high school, will be able to continue with free meals as they qualify due to them reaching the limits for qualifying for free and reduced meals for their kids. The problem at the high school is we don't have enough of them turn in the forms for them to qualify for the programs.
Yep.
Across the district, we're in 70, 80% range. High school, we get about 40-something% of them to turn in their forms. So unless they turn in their free and reduced lunch forms at the high school, they'll be paying full price for meals. So it would be good if all of our high school kids that need this program can get their applications in via their parents. But once again, we're just letting everyone know the government has discontinued that program. First day of class is August 11th. Beautiful Day will be helping us welcome back students. We're very appreciative of them and everything they do for us. And then 2 weeks from tomorrow is the safety and security bond. If you haven't noticed the little yard signs that are here in front of the board table. And so you're more than welcome to grab one, put it in your front yard. I'll be grabbing 2 for mine, but we want to show you the bond promotional video at this time. I'm Rick Cross. I'm the superintendent of Chickasha Public Schools. About a year and a half ago, we ran the Restoring Excellence Bond for us to start renovations on our buildings. At Lincoln Elementary, we addressed the spring of water that's been coming up in the basement.
We were able to do some projects such as drainage, masonry restoration, and joint sealants, and we were successful with completing all of those projects.
I'm an alumni of Chickasha Public Schools. When you look at these older structures, you got to make these changes to make
We need changes, see?
them safer and
I would back it up a little bit or something as it continues to buffer.
more. These changes to make them safer and more efficient.
Driving through our community, it's clear that what was promised in the previous bond has been delivered. So it really is a testament that our district is committed to fulfilling the promises they make to the community and also being good stewards of our resources. This particular bond issue, we are requesting to be able to do projects that focus on safety and security. Proposition number one is for $34.7 million, and it is not a tax increase. In fact, neither proposition is a tax increase. Then there's a $1 million proposition, which is proposition number two, and that is for transportation. By law, you have to carry transportation separately. With this bond, we propose putting in security vestibules at 3 of our sites. Additionally, we'll be able to build tornado safe rooms at 2 of our sites. With the track and field, we will completely come in, move the visitor bleachers back, and then with our track and field, we will do new construction. And they're put in a turf field and an 8-lane track. We'll no longer have to dodge all the holes that's in the track from its wear and tear. Upgrades like painting the football stadium, updating our current existing
Well, that's good.
track are just simple ways that this bond can address issues that show people that we take pride in Chickasha property, Chickasha community, and Chickasha values.
I'll have a child at Grand, a child at Lincoln, a child at the middle school, and a child in the high school. So providing a safer school for my children is imperative to me and my wife alike, who teaches at Chickasha Public Schools. As an officer, it gives us an extra added layer of protection, so when we are responding, we know that there are safer protocols in place for us to be able to deal with any kind of incident happening.
I have a grandchild at the high school. I have one at the middle school, and I have one at Grand. A parent trusts us with their children. And once they leave that parent's presence, they essentially become our responsibility. I want everybody's child to be safe when they're with me.
Security is a huge measure for me. Even before having children, it's always been something in the back of my mind. You don't want to fear it all the time, but unfortunately, the country we're living in and the way that things are happening, that's something you have to think about.
As an alumni, career teacher, and parent in this community, this bond issue represents something for me that is a source of pride for our community. Our community has always been committed to the education of our children, but now more than ever, we need to be committed to the safety of our kids at school and the teachers who are teaching our children at school.
Not only being a school administrator within the district, but also a grandparent of a student that attends Bill Wallace Elementary, I will feel much more at ease that my student will be attending school that is a safe and secure learning environment.
I think I would encourage anyone who votes in the city of Chickasha to get educated about what the bond is about.
This is our future. The kids are our future for the city of Chickasha. Ask the administration what all is going to be covered under this bond issue. And most important, exercise your right. Vote. Go out and vote.
The most exciting part for me as being the superintendent of Chickasha Public Schools is being able to work in this great community. Each and every single day, we're reminded of the decision why we came here. I know that our community will look into this bond. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about it. But working together, we're going to continue moving this great district forward. We hope that you'll come out and support us on August the 23rd. So we hope you'll take a yard sign. Hope you'll remember to come out and vote and support us on August 23rd. We are having a community meeting a week from tonight at 6 o'clock for those who'd like to come and hear a presentation and be able to do some Q&A with us regarding this. That's my report.
Hey. Oh, question. Did you say where the meeting is?
It's here in the administration, right here.
Any other questions? Item number 6, staff reports.
And so up first, we have Ms. Swinburne. She's going to give us an update on special education in our district.
The time that these students spend in special education. We have 50 students that spend more than 80% of their day in the special education setting. Actually, that takes up, is made up of, of our students in our self-contained classroom, many of our multi-disability students, things of that nature. 31% are 40 to 79% in the special education setting. Most of these students are more of our intellectual disability students, but their overall disabilities don't keep them out of the general education classroom. They're still going to all their specials, they're going to lunch, they're going to recess, they're doing all of those things with their general education peers. And then the majority of our students spend less than 40% of their time in special ed, and that's what we want. We want them to have the least restrictive environment for them to succeed. Okay. And these are just a few highlights from last year. During our 2021 school year, we had an increase of 36 students, which was a weighted number of 70. And we're going to have another increase this year, which is good. We're going to have another increase. We had 2 special education teachers that were trained in the Orton-Gillingham program, and more teachers will be trained this year, at least 2. Orton-Gillingham is basically considered the gold standard for training in dyslexia. And as you know, that is coming into law this year. It pairs well with our letters training that our elementary teachers and middle school teachers have been doing. So Orton-Gillingham works hand in hand with that. And if the more teachers we can get trained, the better we'll be. Every special education teacher had professional development from SNU regarding adaptive behavior analysis. Adaptive behavior analysis is used primarily with students on the autism spectrum. It just teaches many different ways of dealing with them, especially if they are nonverbal. Okay, so every single one of our teachers had that training last year. Then in the spring, every single special education teacher received professional development in trust-based responsive intervention. We brought this in because of our high numbers of students that are having more emotional, mental health issues, that sort of thing. And since the pandemic, and I know you even hear this on the news, mental health issues are skyrocketing. That's the same for our kiddos as well. We have more students that are in foster care, so there has been some kind of trauma, usually in their background. We have students out at Southwest Youth and Family Services who are in a shelter situation. And so we really feel like that our mental health is something that we've really got to focus on. We also last year in the spring came up with the Chickasha Alternative Placement, or the CAP program. This is to work very closely with Liz's program. In her quality academy, there is only a certain percentage of students that can be on an IEP or special education for her program. But we also have many students at the high school level, especially middle school, some that are definitely at risk of dropping out, but maybe we don't have a spot for them. All right, just based on numbers. And so we were able to make the Chickasha Alternative Placement that is only for special education students. I think we had 2 graduate last year. We had 2 others. One is going to go back to the high school. Another student that had been adjudicated could not be on our other campuses. He is going to a different school this year, but I'm really, for doing it for one semester, getting 2 graduated was amazing, amazing. And then Donna and our office spent approximately 4,500 to 4,700 hours just evaluating students. That's where it all starts, by us doing our testing and going through that process. For any student to receive a complete evaluation, it's approximately 3 hours just for the evaluation process, and then we write the report. So that's just a few highlights from last year. Okay. All right, just projections for this year. I'm going to tell you, we are suffering in special education like everyone across the state, like all of our sites, but we are going to start the school year this year with 2 speech and language pathologists, 2 speech language pathologist assistants. I have 11 special education teachers who are highly qualified. And to meet the needs of our students, we have hired 5 long-term substitutes. And what this does to our entire system is anyone that is not highly qualified, or basically these 5 long-term substitutes, we have 1 at every site except the middle school. We have at least 1. They cannot do any paperwork. And paperwork is a huge issue in special education. So it was taken to negotiations, and hopefully we will be able to pay other special education teachers to take on someone's caseload. I will be able to also help with that. We'll make it work, but it's going to tax our people that are already out there and being overworked as they are. We're starting with 22 paraprofessionals. And just based on today, as you know, my numbers, or our numbers, all of us, numbers are very fluid. But as of today, looking at some of the numbers that I could see coming from Pioneer, Friend, we're going to have about 450 students. We have a couple of more severe students than we've had just in the recent past. And so we also have a couple of the students coming back to us that have not been in person. All right. So we are going to do the trust-based responsive intervention this Wednesday again. That is the one that deals with all of our mental health issues.
Is that the Karen Purvis?
No, Keely Tazar does
Okay.
that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does that. Pretty quick breakdown, but I know we don't have a lot of time. Questions for me? Southern Nazarene was the adaptive behavior, and they've all come here. They come here. Yeah, all of our trainings have been here at Advent. Oh, that's Keely Tazar.
Oh, I meant Karen Purvis is the one that kind of originated it. Like in TCU, there's the Karen Purvis school. Okay,
yes.
that's
Yes.
okay. That's what I thought. That's
what it's
good.
based on. That is exactly who it's
Okay.
based on. Mhm. On which one? I think the only open posting we have for special education is a paraprofessional. We have many applicants. I think they just need to go through the applicants and interview and go from there.
Sorry, I have one more question
Yeah.
too. So like you were talking about the professional development, like the TRBI, are there any more of those that like the teachers could do that might help offset the need for
The trust-based intervention would be excellent for every teacher. It
Yeah,
really would.
yeah.
It's one of those things that there's not a teacher in our district that's not affected by what they're seeing in their classroom. So I do think it would be something that would be beneficial to all teachers. It's just getting everything scheduled.
Yeah.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. First of all, special ed is huge and it's hard, and everyone, everywhere, all over the state is dying on the vine for special ed help teachers. So first of all, I want to say congratulations to you for the phenomenal job that you're doing in special ed,
Yes.
because
I
I
have a good
know
team.
how
Yeah.
hard the program is. And I know you have a good mentor through Pam,
Yes,
because
most
that's
definitely.
Pam's background. And then I'm going to roll that over to you. I love these reports. And I think it's kudos to you, Rick, that we've got some awesome directors, because every month we have a report or two. And every month I go home thinking, how did we get these phenomenal people
I
in these
know.
positions? So yeah, I appreciate your hard work. I know this is a challenging issue in education.
We'll
And
make it work. Like I said, I've got a great
I
team.
love your enthusiasm.
Great team. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Mr. Turner. He's going to give you an update on operations as we start a school year.
Mr. Turner, the movie star that we saw earlier?
Man,
All right.
The myth
I'm
and the legend.
excited. I might have to get his autograph when we're done.
he'll give it. He wanted to
Good.
sign those boards down there.
Oh, he
those yard
should.
signs.
Oh my goodness.
First of all, I noticed in one presentation, probably noticed it as well, bring on that all those are changing. Could have got the video done, like, show those, all the roofing projects are complete except one. Everything else will be completed. One issue, so finished, get the notes. That way, that new roofs and bad work. Seems like every rainstorm. It's hard to stay. That does not water. So, on the top, the very top layer, you may have a leak 8 foot classroom, and it goes through the line. Water just goes past the leak position. So it's hard to figure out exactly. Right now, it's trying to find. Several leaks, teachers come in. Got the needs and rents. As soon as the bond issue passes. Second thing I want to talk about is here, let's go ahead. These are some of the updates. It took an entire summer to get the greenhouse. Greenhouse, it's very nice. The other night, guys stayed and worked on it. The crew that we had, they were working till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, trying. Up to it about midnight. Look it over. It's awesome on the inside. Great things out of Smith and the FFA group. 50 products that they will turn out. Another project that we were able to complete this summer. We've done a lot of painting. One thing you're going to notice around the district is the slate gray and the purple tree. See this in a lot of different places. I don't know why we went green yet. Back to neutral color gray with purple trim everywhere. Next one, please. This awning was also completed this summer, and concrete pad right out in front of the concession stand. No longer do you have green, but have to wait for but 2 days before it's smoked, it's right, so all water runs off, plus it provides another layer of stain for you also notice at the top of the stand, there used to be a black string that used to block out the sunset. Went ahead and put metal on it. There for a long time. Next one, please. The weight room. It looks a lot different. Not having paint off, and it doesn't look like now. I know at a period of time it looked like, when are you guys? I know we had people think, when are you ever going to do something to these facilities? Time has occurred. We had guys get nothing all summer long except paint. This is the weight room. Next, you'll see the football. Looks a lot better. A lot better. Now, we'd like to have the stadium match up with the way our football locker room, weight room looks, baseball dugouts, and softball and soccer complex. Let's go to the next one, please. This is the soccer facility. Remember, it used to be green and had the white stripes in it. It looks a lot different now when we have the purple trim on the vent on the top, and then the side of the building itself with all the purple. Good thing you noticed if you went to the softball right there Saturday evening, we did not have our tags on the bathroom. Those were ordered. It kept coming up, and they said, "We don't know where signs went for the bathroom." I know where they went, we took them down. So we're waiting on those to get in and we'll put those up. Yes.
Our plan on taking us there.
That's in,
Complimenting how different
that's in the future.
concession
We
looks, and
have,
so they asked people to paint that too. I said, well,
we do have future plans, but it's not, take that bid to make.
So as part of the bond issue would be to go in, take out that metal fencing for the softball and soccer complex and come back in. We need to fix the erosion that's occurring there. And it will be a chain link fence, and then we'll do purple inserts. You just
Okay.
cannot match the metal fence when somebody hits it or something happens to it. And so the sun beating down on it.
they're like, "We fixed that."
Also in the band room, we were able to get carpet throughout the entire complex in band office. Hallway going into the band. It's nice, it was needed. Very much so in the band room, and looks a lot different in there now. Okay, that's the last one there. So I want to move on now to security. Security measures that we have taken. Number one, I want to talk about active shooter drills. Those are scheduled at each one of our sites. All 6 sites, we have active shooter drills scheduled for Wednesday. So all throughout the day, Chickasha Police Department will be going into our buildings and talking about what they expect and what they expect from the teachers. God forbid we ever have something like that happen. We won't prepared. Not wait till something happens. Be prepared and be proactive instead of reactive in everything. Speaking of that, I want to talk about the security devices. I'm going to show you the security devices that we have purchased for throughout the district in every classroom.
I think I'm loud enough, but we'll do this. This particular device here is one that is used for any door that opens to the inside. For any inward door,
Teacher grabs it, right, it's gonna be hanging right by the door. The teacher takes it off. It'll be like this, then they'll take it, once they put it under the door.
Comes right off. Great.
Lock it and they're good.
Lock it, we're good to go.
Yep.
It actually fits, crank it with the jam.
Right.
So, we want to be good. Second type of device we have is for any outward opening. Okay, this will fit up against the pads, they fit up against the jamb. This actually fits over the lever or the door handle itself, the knob, and then they just tighten it down. You can't budge that door at all. And my goal is for our teachers to be able, once we get a notification, to me, if they can do it in 15 seconds or less, we're setting pretty. So that's the second. Third one looks like a cowbell for Texas A&M, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have 3 different slots that we can fit the bolt into and tighten it down. However, it's going to fit on our door closure. Any door that has a door closure on the inside, we'll be able to take it, shut it, put it right over the closure, and it will not budge at all. And we'll fit these tight on maintenance crew, put them on the right setting, and then we'll slide them over the doors. We'll demonstrate these at every site on how to place them properly. It's going to be awesome. These are ordered. As soon as we can get them in, I'm putting these back.
Even the broken one?
I know I just broke. Oops.
Inside, outside. It could be
inside, outside
interior, all
doors.
Whether the
So-
door.
Let me give you an example of Bill Wallace. Okay. Every room at Bill Wallace, if you think back to the construction of Bill Wallace, their classroom doors, they're glass up top, glass down on the bottom. That is not good when it comes to the security and safety of our students. So we have other methods, other places that we're going to have those students go where they will be safe. So for Bill Wallace, we had to order 2 different types of devices. One that is the door closure one, and then one that is the outward opening door. It will be the one that fits over the lever. So we had to do 2 per classroom
And I'm
at
assuming
Bill
that's
Wallace.
less expensive than if just buying new doors.
Do what now?
I didn't know what, like if you just bought new doors to like.
The whole
that don't have
thing
the
is,
glass.
number one, you've got to have some way to secure that door. Okay? If that door was to remain locked all day long, and we know that there are kids constantly in and out, and if we even if you were to buy new doors, I think that you would want an added security on those doors as well. Not just the lock, but then you would buy another device. But those doors, when you go into solid core, those doors are going to get expensive. I can tell you one right off the top of my head, Bushland schools in Bushland, Texas. They have them in every classroom. We are also looking at a film from 3M that we will be able to put over the glass. Now, it's not going to be bulletproof. It is shatterproof. None of those windows, none of the glass will shatter. But as soon as we get all that information in, we are looking at purchasing some of that film from 3M to take care of all of our glass. We get a lot of questions everywhere we go. We get emails. I mean, we have had people from the outside that has either contacted Rick or contacted myself wanting to know what security measures we're taking to make sure that our students are safe and our staff is safe. And, you know, this is what we're letting them know that we have done this year to try and protect our students and staff.
And I'm assuming we coordinated with law enforcement a lot too. I mean,
Yes.
I think we have, but I just wanted to
Yes.
say it. Yeah.
We're being somewhat reserved, and I'll just be very truthful. We're being a little reserved in everything we're putting out there because we want our staff to be informed so they know what to do and how to handle it. But as far as putting out a blanket, everything that we're doing, no. That information does not need to be public knowledge.
We have had constant dialogue with police chief and a couple of other officers.
And as we know, that's really important.
The one thing that we could tell everyone who may be inquisitive, we are taking the necessary actions to make sure that we have each and every one of our students and staff, their safety at the forefront. This is going to be very helpful, and I think everyone will feel much more secure and at ease knowing that we are looking out for each and every one of them.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Item 7.
Do have a couple of the new administrators here tonight that we might want to introduce to make sure the board has
Okay.
a name with a face. So as I look around the room, there is Melissa Fink. She's our new administrative intern at the high school. Daryl Williamson is all the way in the back. He is back there in the back, new assistant principal at the middle school. We have Amanda Townley, which of course is our principal over at Bill Wallace. Let me see, I'm trying to remember. And then we have just some of the returning champions that we have. Dr. Johnson, the Adult Learning Center, Miss Feckner, Quality Academy, Miss Snow is our new instructional support specialist. Miss Greenfield is still standing. Barely, but she's still standing.
But she has a computer in front
She
of her and
does.
she
She's
looks
probably
like she's
working
working. I see that.
Mr. Bowens, Milton Bowens, has been working hard on curriculum. Dr. A is right in front of him, getting everything ready at Lincoln. Tori Weber, our new middle school principal. Let's see, Miss Debbie Davis, new high school principal. We got Dareth Harrison, Grand Elementary. Everything's grand over there. Miss Norwood, working on federal programs. Well, not after today.
What did you do today?
Miss Ladyman, doing personnel and student services. Mr. Mulder, directing technology, hiding back there behind the screen. And then we have,
I like those socks, by the way. I just noticed that.
he's pretty
Yeah,
fancy.
everything's on
Trey with child nutrition, wearing the coolest hat in the room.
Mhm.
And I can say that because Dr. A is not wearing a hat right now. Otherwise it'd be a contest. So Miss Stegman over there sitting on the side. So anyway, Just wanted to make sure we connected names and faces. All right, here we go. Policy time.
Thank you for that staff update. Discussion and possible action is number 7 regarding board policy BH, sexual harassment policy, and it's an update.
Yep. So several of the policies we have for you tonight are just simply updates that we were forwarded from Center for Education Law. There were some changes on this one. And pretty much what happened, and still, I mentioned this before, these are all coming down from the federal government. They continue, you have a new administration, and it's different from the previous administration. All I can say is it's going to get real interesting over the next 2 years. And it's really going to be interesting in the courts, who has control over who or what when it comes to Title IX in schools between the federal government and state law. I'm just planting the seed. It's going to get real interesting in the next couple of years. This one, though, however, changes a couple of things. And so we had to, in relation to investigations and like who does what. So updating policy, the superintendent is now the designated as the appeal officer. The compliance officer, we had to change because they changed all these different facets. The compliance officer is now Pam Ladyman, or whoever is in the position of Executive Director of Personnel and Student Services. The decision maker is now our Assistant Superintendent position, Ms. Stegman. So they clarified that the decision maker can have no knowledge about it. Then you had to have somebody completely separate for the appeals. So that will have to be me. And so anyway, just some changes that are all based on federal law, and we will continually be updating this, I promise you. It's going to get even more interesting.
So the third important party is the investigator, and I guess that's where my question comes. We didn't name one. So you've got it as to be determined.
And that is how legal counsel sent it to us, that you cannot predetermine who is going to be your investigator because you have to look at each incident individually every time and then determine who will be handling the investigation.
Do you have like a pool of people that?
Principals and assistants would be the ones.
But that investigator has to have tons of training. So
Yes.
are we going, I guess, that's different from the legal counsel I got, because we named an investigator and that investigator has to have tons of training, and they specifically asked that we have one so that you don't have multiple investigators and people come back and say, well, they were easier than them. So just questions about,
It's all changing. So
Yeah.
we're going to bring back OSSBA, do more Title IX training.
Yeah.
But what I really think I'm going to do, I've been a little hesitant to do this. I think it would serve us really well to send certain staff members based on their titles and all this in here to a TICSA training, which is Association of Title IX Administrators. It's a pricey training to send people to, but it's very good as far as understanding the law and everything that's involved. My concern and hesitation is the law is continuing to change. And so if we make that investment and do it 1 year, will we be back over there again a year later?
Right.
And I'm afraid so. It probably would behoove us to go ahead and do it. And just so you're up to date and you have that TICSA training underneath your belt, and then you're doing updates. But I've
Yeah.
said it 3 times. I'm going to say it again. We will be updating this policy
constantly.
many times, and there are going to be things that we'll be bringing that people might not like, but it is the federal law.
We
as we're
can't do
moving
anything
forward.
about it. Yeah. So other than checking into the whole investigator piece, posting requirements, I did look on the website and we have 2 PowerPoints, one from OSSBA and one from Brandon. So what it says in here that we post is not exactly up there. So we'll want to look at that.
All materials to train compliance, and that's everything we've had up to this point.
Yeah, so we'll want to put our
Mhm.
coordinator and our decision maker and all
Right.
that stuff on there. And then 120 days.
Yep.
That must be new because I could not find that in anything.
It
I
is-
Googled it. I looked in all the stuff I've gotten from Brandon. I've never seen 120 days.
That
That's
is what-
3 months.
That is 3 months.
So I can't imagine that they're going to give you 120
I-
days to make a decision, but that's in here and I've never seen it before. So I'm
We will run that by legal counsel. but
Please.
that's-
Yeah.
They're the ones that updated it and sent it to us based on everything.
Yeah, the 10 days on all these
Mhm.
steps, and then within 60 days, a final decision. So if that's 60, it's like 120. That was confusing to me.
Yep.
My questions about it. It's a terrible policy to have, but
Yeah.
ask Minicall what happens when you don't have it.
Yep.
So it's
Or my
something that
previous district, or-
every school in the state needs.
Who's they? As we do the trainings, everyone signs off on the trainings. They've been to the training that's been held and all that. We have all that from last year, and we're gonna be doing it all again this year.
The three decision makers really run the whole show, and they have to have boo koodles of training. And then every training they go to, we have to post their training on the website. So, and then the rest of it's actually just letting teachers and staff and parents know that there's a form. And that's basically,
We utilized that a couple of times last year, but this is going to be a lot moving forward. But
and
once again,
it's changing.
get ready.
What they're putting, what one person puts out isn't what another. And the State Department doesn't even have a Title IX division. So
Get ready. We have, and I'm
They're
not
no
getting,
help.
I'm not getting political on you, but we have a person running for state superintendent that is saying a lot of stuff that directly will impact this policy. And we have state laws that were passed, Senate Bill 2, Senate Bill 615, 2 in particular,
pertaining
And-
to this.
pertaining to this, and what will be coming down from the feds potentially within 12 to 18 months will completely wipe all that away. It is going to be an interesting 2 years ahead of us. And it's going to change this policy. Just hold on.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Well, especially when you have two different people telling you two different things.
Things, yeah.
And then it's like, how do you decide? So
well,
it is not going to be
No, it's not.
but we're on top of it.
We are. I'm on top of it for a month and then I'll change again next month.
We have one. Good for you.
All right. I move that we approve the changes, the update to board policy BH.
I have a motion from Cliff to second from Alan. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Item 8, discussion of possible action regarding board policy BJ, internet access and acceptable use policy, and it is also an update.
Yes. So this one was also sent to us by Center for Education Law, and this one is really a one-line update. If I can get my Chromebook that I'm using tonight, because all my other stuff is prepped and ready for bond issue presentations.
Here it is.
It's on page, I think, 4.
We're on
Let's see,
6.
Page 5 or whatever.
5.
Anyway, it's just adding one line, specifically that which constitutes bullying, harassment, threats, or advocates or depicts illegal activity. And so this is talking about social media posts that are made by students. Once again, this is a change to a state law that occurred during this past session. It's constantly being done every legislative session where there is a new bill that's being done to either add, modify, revise, adjust, whatever they want to call it this year, the definition or acts of bullying. And so this year they added this line, students will be held accountable. This is how the policy reads. Students will be held accountable for the content of their electronic communications in relation to schools, staff, and students that might harm or cause harm to another student or teacher. And then the new addition is specifically that which constitutes bullying, harassment, threats, or advocates or depicts illegal activity and or causes a substantial is new disruption to the normal operations at school. And so once again, just updating policy to be in line with state law.
Is any of that something that we need to reflect or that we do in the student handbook or our athletic handbook?
So out of this particular part, all it does is we already have stuff in there that's related to social media. It's just meant to, from our understanding from legal counsel, they were trying to give a more firm definition of what bullying on social media is. which is something we've had previously that they took away, and now they're
They're
bringing
putting
the
it back.
verbiage back.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. That's how it works. And so we already deal with students that bully, harass, threat, or advocate illegal activity or substantial disruption to the normal operations of school and stuff they post on social media.
Right.
And we've been doing that for years, but anyway, we just have to have this piece of our policy.
And I did make note in the policy that we do have to annually remind our employees about what the policy is, and I know all you principals are doing that in your meetings now. I find it interesting. I guess I've really never read the exact verbiage, but it says employees shall not engage in personal use of social media during contracted hours unless the activity has been assigned to the employee. Use of an employee's personal social media account to discuss school business with parents and students is prohibited. And then it goes on to say it could result in disciplinary action or dismissal of employment. And I do know that we tend to have teachers who post things during the day on their own personal social media accounts with kids in them, because I get calls about it. So I'm glad, I hope that we are reiterating to them that that's a no-no. You can't do it. So good time to renew the policy.
I move that we approve the update to board policy BJ. Second, Alan.
Motion from Cliff, second from Alan. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Item 8, discussion of possible action regarding board policy BJ, internet access and acceptability. Oh,
That's one we just
9,
did.
ED. Discussion of possible action on ED, grading, promotion, retention, and graduation update again.
Okay, so this is simply, there's one line in this policy regarding dyslexia screenings that legal counsel said we should remove just simply because of time or the date that it gives. The line that is being stricken is in the section dyslexia screening, first line, beginning with the 22-23 school year and for each school year thereafter. And that's all been removed, and that will now begin any student enrolled in kindergarten through third grade. So we're just taking out that first line. Nothing is changing, everything is in place, but we are removing that line.
I have no question.
Some particular, I just.
Yep.
For later.
Find out why legal counsel didn't catch that.
All right, I move that we approve the update to board policy ED. Second, Alan.
Motion Cliff, second Alan. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Item 9, discussion and possible action regarding board policy EB, admission, residency, placement, transfer, and withdrawal. And it also is an update.
So the state legislature made a significant amount of changes to the new student transfer law that went into effect on January 1 of this year. So they passed it originally in the 21 legislative session. And before it ever really went into place, they had so much feedback and information from their constituents that even before it went into place, they had already drafted a bill that would update the law prior to January 1 of this year. So this policy updates the changes that were made inside of this particular bill. And I'm scrolling down through here so I can get to all those changes. There's a few date updates on page 6 as of January 1, 2022. That's been stricken because we are past that date. It talks about transfer may denied if we exceed enrollment capacity. And they, for the first time, because of how law is written, our legal counsel has actually put in their state statutes inside of policy. And I've been working with Center for Education Law for over 20 years, and I've never seen them put in state statute references. But this law specifically states that you have to do this. So it gives us information about attendance issues are defined as 10 or more absences in a semester that are not excused for reasons provided in, and then you have a list of reasons that are in there. You also have a student transfers previously granted will remain in effect unless the district takes action to deny. And it goes on there. There's information that is stricken from this law, and you can see that. It goes, there are just many changes. Student who has not attended school as a resident student for at least 3 years prior to moving out of the district may be allowed to transfer regardless of capacity.
Where's that? Say that again.
That is at the bottom of
On the
page
bottom of
7.
page 7.
Any student who has attended school as a resident student for at least 3 years prior to moving out of the district may be allowed to transfer regardless of capacity,
Okay, so they can stay in the school.
They
even
can
if
stay.
Their family
Mhm.
moves. Okay.
provided that the student does not meet a criteria for denial or provide for herein. Brother or sister students may attend school in the district regardless of capacity, and so long as the brother or sister does not meet a criteria for denial as provided. So that's new. The appeal process will be paperwork only, and it will be a review of documents. So if a transfer is denied, it is a paper review of that. And they added the line that you review the documents that are related to it. That is the majority of the changes. So it is really based on feedback they received from across the state. We're one of them that gave them feedback. There's also a line in there previously said that employees, teachers, were the only staff member that could have their kid on a transfer regardless of capacity. And so that's been expanded to district employees. And that's the only other change. It's an interesting bill, and it's made life interesting. Mona feels it a lot when it comes to transfers. We talk quite about a few things, but I think transfers are the biggest thing that Mona and I talk about pretty much on a weekly basis, especially since January 1 of this year. And now we have all these changes, which hopefully will help it be better, but at the same time, we'll keep talking. So.
I move that we update.
I have,
Oh, sorry,
I'm
got a
not,
question?
yep, okay, I find it interesting on immunizations. The waiver on immunizations, there are 3 ways you can get them. One of them has to have a physician. One of them, if they do it, we have to let the Department of Public Health know, but one of them they can just do and it's okay. So we don't have to report everyone who is not immunized.
Probably have to have a category.
I have to see the form again. There's a way to report everyone. But yeah, we have to report it. We have to account for every kid
Okay.
that has been immunized or has not been immunized. But I'd have to go back and look at the report that Janice has.
Gotcha.
Specifically.
Okay, I just thought that was interesting. I mean, that's the state's requirement, not ours.
It's not ours.
And then, do what?
What page is on page?
That is on page 2 of 2. It says that
Section.
there are 3 reasons you can exempt. One is the physical condition of the student, and that requires a signed physician note. 2 is the parent having legal custody of the child that objects to test or immunization for religious reasons. And 3 is the parent having legal custody of the student claims an exemption for personal reasons. And for that one, it says a copy of the exemption must be forwarded to the Department of Health for review. So if they object on a religious reason, it doesn't say we have to report them,
But just for personal reason.
just
They
for
have to
personal. I
report
thought
it.
that was interesting.
I think we make
Why
a
they-
notation of religious reason, but they're, Yeah.
Interesting. And then we move on to.
And is that our local Department of Health?
Mhm.
That they're, I assume,
Reported
since it
to.
didn't say
Yeah.
state,
Yep.
okay.
Placement, it says that we have a comprehensive exam for placement. What do we use for that now?
so this would be if a student is coming to us from being homeschooled.
Or,
I don't
homeschooled and required to take a comprehensive written exam in the subject they want to.
I don't.
Okay. So. Secondary, we don't have anything.
I might typically, well,
Okay.
I mean, you can go the virtual route. The other thing that you could do is you do, and this is what we did in my last district. We have not had these requests since being here. As we had them take the equivalent comprehensive semester finals for a year. So if you're saying that you're past Algebra 1, you're gonna have to be able to pass with a 70% for a semester final. You could go the virtual route as well. I've seen where they've had tests that have been purchased that people have used. The problem with those is they quickly go out of date. They're not always based on your academic standards.
Right.
So,
Well, anyway, it says that we will do, we have a comprehensive test, so I just made note of that. It's in here. It also says that we have to put all this on the website. And so I got on the website and it's on there under enrollment. But I think it's interesting that on the website, we do it by total capacity, but in the board policy, we do it by classroom. So, and under secondary, in the board policy, it says 160 kids, but on the website, it says 200.
should be 160.
So those,
Shorten
yeah,
it up.
we might want to look at that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if we want to change this to match that or change that to match this. Because I don't know, it says no more than 20 per classroom like in pre-K, but up here it says 140. Well, how would you know if that's 20 per classroom? So anyway, just look at that. My
Make
note.
sure they match. Yeah. All right. I move that we accept the update of board policy EB.
Second, Gertis.
Motion Cliff, second Gertis. Any further discussion? Roll call. Yes.
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 Yes. Let me go back. That would be item 11, discussion of possible action regarding board policy DI, leave.
So this is us and working in the process of phasing out COVID leave. I brought this up in negotiations this year with our unions. Oh, come on.
It's
Scroll
all the
down
way
for me.
down.
Help me here. All right. So basically all you have here in policy is us pulling this out of policy, is being moved over into board regulation D1-R1, which we also provided you a copy with when we sent this out via email. What we're doing is we're reducing the COVID leave down to 5 days from 10. Last year, we had minimal use of the COVID leave district-wide. This will allow us to free up money inside of our ESSER funds that we can utilize on other programs. And then with that, at the end of this year, we will phase out the COVID leave. In order to be able to use COVID leave this year, it takes more than just being testing positive. You have to have doctor's orders that you are 5 days. You are an immediate family member in your household. So what your vote is here is just simply to update this policy with the removal of the COVID.
Okay, so under personal leave, it says personal business leave shall not be used for the following purpose: participating in political activities, household business, or legal business, performing services for compensation, or participating in entertainment, recreation, or vacation. Is that not what you can use it for? But it says it's what you cannot use it for.
So what would you use it for? You excluded everything.
I'd have to go back and ask our legal counsel that. That's how they phrase that. Should be the legal definition of personal leave.
So anyway, so that was my question. Typo.
I just tried to figure out what
Another
was
thing
outside
I-
of that.
Yeah. What could you actually use your personal
what-
leave for?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then a leave of absence, to take a year's leave of absence. I didn't know it says in our policy, you have to use all other leave before you can do that.
That would be correct.
So like if you're a teacher and you want to take care of your mother for a year and you have 120 days booked
You would
for
have to utilize-
retirement,
you'd have to
you have
utilize
to
that leave
use all
first.
that 120 days before you can be given a leave of absence.
That is correct.
That's new news to me.
Mhm.
Cool.
That is correct. Because you have a bank of leave that you have built up
And you have to.
and you need to utilize it. Yes.
That was my question. All right. I need a motion.
I move that we accept the update of board policy DI.
Second, Allen.
Motion Cliff, second Allen. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item 12, discussion and possible action regarding board policy EK, student discipline, suspension, and due process.
So we are updating our basically short-term appeal process. Pardon me, our appeal process for short-term suspensions. I'll get it spit out correctly here. There's also one other line that we are removing from this policy where it says, in board policy, the district does not utilize corporal punishment as a means of discipline. It did say that. And that has been utilized. I'm just openly let you know. And so we're going to remove that because that can be done with parental permission. And so anyway, we're just going to remove that little
It's a good idea.
snag.
Yeah.
Little snag there in the policy. But go down to short-term suspension appeals. And I'm going to summarize this entire process up for you real fast. If you're a short-term suspension is 10 days or less, that's given to you by a site administrator. In the event that you want to appeal that suspension, it is a written appeal that will be submitted back to the school. We will have a committee review the appeal. So if I'm suspended and Robin wants to appeal it, let's say, no, Pam's my mom. Yeah, she tells me that all the time.
Okay.
It's just an age thing. That's all I got to say about that. But anyway, Pam then could write an appeal, submit it to Miss Davis, our principal. Miss Davis then would get all the documents, any statements, the appeal, and anything like that, convene a 3-person panel that is neutral to the event that occurred. They would review all the documents and then they make a decision that the parents be notified about. If legal counsel wants to submit any documents or any information to support the student or the parent's position, they're more than welcome to. That would be reviewed as well. It meets all the definitions of due process by federal law. It's just taking away the whole, we're trying to streamline it. And sometimes if you have in-person appeal processes, you can have yourself a show. We do not need a show at the site level. Short-term appeal suspensions only happen at the site level. The site level decision is final on that appeal. Long-term suspensions, which are over 10 days, can come to the district office, and those are ones that eventually can make their way to a school. That's it in a nutshell.
Is there, I noticed that we still send 3 different places in here certified mail. Do we have to do that?
They have to be notified of their due process rights. They have to, yes,
9 out of 10 times they're not gonna pick it up.
I know, but you have to send it.
Still
You have to
do it.
send it.
Okay, just wondering. And
Because 9 out of 10 times, it's not an issue. That one time out of 10, and
They'll
you've got the
say-
attorney there, and we had attorneys last year, on one particular appeal, they're looking for any and everything.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll give you those.
So if it's less than the 10-day, the appeal has to be requested in writing within 2 days.
Mhm.
So if they're only banking on that certified mail or that.
Well, no, they have 48 hours from the moment they receive it. And the principal is going to work with them.
Sure.
But what you can't do
I'm
is
just trying to
this.
figure out
Yeah,
what
you
they
can't
then
have a
fall
10-day
back on.
suspension. You serve 9 days. And then you come back and you tell Miss Weber, you know what, we're going to appeal that suspension. You're 90% done with it.
Yeah.
We're
Past
no,
that,
we're
right,
past.
The window.
So they need to be very clear in their intent that they're going to appeal, move on. I've even had appeals in my career. I'm sure some of our principals have had it as well, where the suspension was served and they want to come back and appeal
Later.
to have it removed from their child's record. That's no.
Well, I mean, the details in this policy are a must. Yeah. Just because of the timelines. You have this many days. If you miss it, you miss it.
Right.
So and I love the fact that you took the in-person arguing out of the
Out of
site
it.
appeal. Yeah. So.
All right.
Okay, I need a
I
motion.
move that we approve the update to board policy EK.
Second, Allen.
I have a motion from Cliff, a second from Alan. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I don't think I could do that, but
No, here she comes.
Curtis?
Curtis?
Yes. Good timing. Yes. Item number
13.
13. Discussion of possible action regarding the 23-24 school calendar.
So first thing I need to do is give props to Angie Morgan for all of her work on this. She does an amazing job working on our calendars, putting everything together. She's actually had this calendar done and it's been setting with me since March. So here's been the dilemma, because we like to have calendars 2 years out. With this particular calendar, it's all been about spring break. Where do you put spring break? And so it just falls weird in March of 24. Typically, it's the third full week of March. That is March the 18th through the 22nd, which is generally later than what our spring breaks have been, if you just go back and look. What falls more in line with the dates is the week prior, March 11th through the 15th. So we have heard from USAO. USAO's spring break, March of 2024, is the 18th through the 22nd. Right now, I'm recommending the 11th through the 15th because we're really trying to make sure that we line up with CV Tech, because that's where our kids also go to class at. And more of our kids go to CV Tech than USAO at the moment. So this might change. All this is for us right now momentarily is a placeholder. CV Tech anticipates that it's going to be that week. Not sure. It could easily shift to the 18th. In the event that it does, then it's golden. That everything will be in line. But anyway, we need to get this calendar up. It puts spring break, the 11th through the 15th. All of their dates, the same start. I did have a question this year about the start of school. They said, man, it seems like we're starting early. We're actually starting the exact same time frame since I've been here and before. One of the things we have work to do in our calendar is make sure that first semester is done prior to us going to Christmas break. Come back, that pushes your finals back. It just doesn't make any sense with a 2-week break in there right as you're getting ready to do finals. So we have been trying to get that piece done. But anyway, everything else is the same. The holdup, we've talked to OSSBA, we've talked to COSA, I've been talking to other superintendents. I've been told I'm crazy for doing it 2 years out on the calendar. Who's thinking about spring break in August and July and June and May? And so anyway, here's the calendar, putting it out there. This could change as far as spring break.
School board meeting change on the 11th if we do spring break that week.
Yep, and go to the week after.
I just would like to see us start a week later in August and go a week later in May and bump it back a week.
So it just runs in again into your Christmas, finishing up winter or first semester by Christmas break.
Prior.
Yep. What you put there is 70 days of instruction is what your 70-something days of instruction prior to Christmas. So your first semester is not equivalent. So for example, if I were taking 9th grade Oklahoma history, if I took it in the fall, my class is going to be shorter than what I would
Right.
get in the spring. We're not going to have 2 equivalent semesters of class there. So that's why it's broken up that way.
But you said it's fluid,
It's very fluid.
that
Yeah.
word.
And it very
Well,
much
just
is in
putting it
line
out
with what
there.
we've been doing and just keeps
It's
that trend up.
really hot August the 10th.
Oh, it's hot. It's
yeah.
hot on the 17th. It's
Well, it's
just
not
hot
any
and hot.
cooler.
I'd rather
week
go to school
later.
when it's hot and be out when it's nice in May. That's my thinking.
Yeah.
So it costs us a lot of money for air conditioning in
And
August.
I think the February 15, 16 days, we wound up not getting out this year and we moved the parent teacher conference up a day. So personally, I think we would flip those, but we'll flip them if the time comes and we use one and don't use the other. I'm assuming.
Well, actually, you'll have your, yes, that would be.
We have the snow day on Thursday, and then we're gonna
Yep.
come back and do
On
conferences on
conferences
Friday.
on
Probably
Friday.
not.
No.
Probably want to flip that.
Yeah.
Have the conferences on
But
Thursday.
once we
and snow day
secure
on
up,
Friday.
we shore up spring break, we'll shore that up.
Yeah. Make final.
We're just trying to get a
decisions.
calendar out there so people, it's really about the start and the stop
Okay,
of when the school year happens.
semesters.
So I'm assuming April is the March 31st there. The 29th is Good Friday, I'm guessing,
Uh-huh.
that
Mhm.
March.
Yep.
Yeah. Which would probably be weird to have the week off and then come back for 4 days and then have 2 days off again.
We got- yeah. So basically, we're approving a tentative 23-24
It might
school
change,
calendar.
it might not. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
I make a motion that we approve the calendar regarding the 2023-2024 calendar year.
Second, Cliff.
motion Alan, second Cliff. Any further discussion? Roll call. Yes.
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 Yes. Item 14, discussion and possible action regarding approval of adjunct status for Catherine Kate.
Get comfy.
Any discussion?
Is
I'm-
this, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Ask your question first.
On this art, because you have it art/life skills program the school year, which rolls into our next thing, I know. But she is only going to do art, but yet you have it collective. Mhm. Okay, so that's our art curriculum that already is approved and known in the district. The same art curriculum that we're teaching over there. Okay, so if we stick with that same theory and we pull in now the life skills process of this, where's that curriculum? Because I see that in the next one too. It's next item. Right, but they deal with the same type thing. Okay, so thank you. Explain that to me then. No, on the one we're on. Okay, and that is curriculum that we currently use at Chickasha Public Schools.
A lot of it is not using drugs.
Okay,
and
hold on.
not-
I need Pam to do this.
Yeah.
Who looks at it and approves what they're teaching? Okay, how could we get our hands on that? I've had a lot of questions that come to us regarding curriculum. So for me to be able to answer those questions now back, we're having curriculum that's outside of our scope of what we approve, look at, do, but yet now we're going to be teaching it. I just like to know more.
And I
Okay. Right. Which, and I love that. I just would like to see, since they're bringing it, they're coming up with it, what are they teaching? So I'm I'm specifically being asked that, so I need to find out. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay.
I move that we approve adjunct status for Catherine Kate to teach art at Lincoln Elementary School.
Second, Alan.
Right. Motion, Cliff, second, Alan. Any further discussion?
So it stated art or art and life skills?
Art is what she wants on art.
For
Okay.
the minutes.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item 15, discussion of possible action regarding approval of adjunct status for Shanna Rice.
Okay, so this is for it's last year and it'll be more last year and some
At which site?
it would be
This is also high
although
school.
high school.
Questions?
Okay, where, yes, let me find it. Where did it say, it may not be here. Hold on, we may be, never mind, we'll get to it. Okay,
All right.
that was awesome.
All right, so I move we approve adjunct status for Shannon Rice to teach secondary English at through the Chickasha High School. Yeah. For requirements, yeah.
Do we have, we don't, second, Alan,
I have a motion, Cliff, to second Alan. Any further discussion?
do we need to reflect anything different in the minutes on this one?
What? Secondary English at
Okay, so
through
they
Chickasha High
both
School requirements.
have additions to the minutes.
Okay. Roll call.
Woo, yes.
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 Yes. Item 16, discussion and possible action regarding ACT determination for high school college career readiness assessment.
SAT.
We have to put ACT as on I think the same comparison of recent form I chose ACT, but bottom line it boils down to
Motion.
I move that we accept the determination. No action needed, it says.
I don't think there's a vote.
Yeah, it
that's
says there's no
required.
action. Yeah.
We just have to have it in the minutes that
Yeah.
we're notifying the board that we
Okay.
are.
Item
ACT
16 is
district
not
instead
going
of
to
SAT.
require an action.
No action.
Item 17 then, discussion and possible action regarding the memorandum of understanding between Chickasha Association of Support Employees, Chickasha United Teaching Association, and Chickasha Public School Board of Education.
It's 1/8 for every 4.
1/8 for every 4 classes.
It's not much, but every little bit helps.
Something.
Every little bit helps. I think it's a great idea. Right.
I move that we accept the memorandum of understanding between Case, CUDA, and Chickasha Public Schools Board of Education. Second, Allen.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Item,
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you very much.
okay,
We made an agenda item. But it does say no action in the minutes of it. I mean, in the agenda of it. It says no action needed.
The board can vote on it.
It says
if that's
possible action.
The action that you think needs to be taken. Then
Right.
let's go back and let the board take action.
Open back up
Either vote
16.
or go back to number 16 and let them make a motion and vote.
I make a motion that we
use the ACD.
accept the recommendation of the ACT determination for the high school college career readiness assessment. Second, Clift.
Motion from Allen. We're back on item number 16, second from Cliff. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we did item 17.
18.
Now we're on to item 18, discussion and possible action regarding Chickasha Home Run Club donation.
Coach Bray had to step out. He made a, was making a slide presentation for us. We're item consideration. The Home Run Club, they came to Coach Bray, said that the baseball facility is next, and would like to also do a so the total cost of it was dollars. They would like to pick up $87.93 cost 2,000. So this is a request to approve the donation.
Discussion? Where does, just 1 second, where does that 8793 come from? Is that fundraising that the baseball team does? They turn around and fundraise to make that money?
Jennifer said
Okay.
it's over 5.
Okay. Well, when you give me,
Or I
let me
guess
have
we
a
can do a
second.
second, yeah.
Second, Alan.
Okay, motion Cliff, second Allen, further discussion.
How do we sort of like keep track of, some like softball facilities? Especially, we're gonna get this new thing, I mean, does softball have to be comparable or?
Well, Title IX said it had to be comparable, and so we would evaluate what softball has, but at the same time, the softball booster club would have to be willing to pay for those improvements if they do that.
I thought it kind of.
It does, but it also doesn't. We want to hold on this. Hold on. So, forced to- Has got the home run club that like to have baseball. They can do it.
And it's not related, it just reminded me of something that we dealt with before. The previously, or previous to putting this in, will be a determination of what's in. And so we don't get into a wall type situation like we did there, like someone,
So those are our
someone lay eyes
conversations
on it.
that we've had with our boosters on sanctions, our coaches. We got this.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And all of that was explained. Group is over program than the other. It's not the head coach running everything. It's not the booster club running everything. They have to. Just so happens to be baseball. Decide about this. Weeds of all that. Our new coach is looking at all of this. We have, how many sprinkler heads do we have to fix on the field? Don't want to get in the weeds on all this, but.
I did that today at my house.
Okay, I
There's
just,
some
it
reasons why-
dawned on me when we're installing things, these are, you know, a fixture type situation. Who's laying eyes
Very
on all
much
of
in
it.
agreement. They thought this is a great thing. It benefit all. So,
Separate. Okay, so what did you, what,
I'm assuming, can I read into your question? The question that I'm assuming you're asking is, did the baseball club order the nets or did we order the nets so that we know we got the right ones? I'm assuming that's kind of what you're asking. Did we make sure
you
we're,
said someone's
this
laid
is the
eyes on it,
school's
so I'm
deal.
trusting that he's, who ordered it, who did it?
who ordered them, Dan?
But we're gonna, yeah, we're gonna be sure that the school got the right ones and the baseball, we're not gonna get them in and go, oh, those aren't right.
Excuse me. No.
Okay.
Money is being donated to us.
Already happened, already happened.
Okay,
Right.
we're gonna approve this assuming that we ordered the nets. Okay. We had a move, we had a discussion. Are we done?
We gotta move.
We are.
Roll call.
Don't hear that out of
Yes, we're live streaming. Yes.
Yes.
everyone. What?
Getting us some
We're
more
trying to get
views
the
there.
ratings up.
We're getting
Come
those
on.
ratings.
Item number 19 would be the consent agenda. And anyway, all of the stuff that goes with the consent agenda, and that if anyone wants to pull something for a separate vote, let me know. Can I start with Jennifer's presentation?
Yes.
Finance report. Have we seen our allocation for next year yet? For this year now? Over collection.
Yeah.
So we over collected more than we're down? Do we come up on the positive end of that? So that's okay. If we over collected more than they charged us, we're still good.
We're still positive.
Good. And our carryover turned out well? We're happy with the percentage? Perfect. Uh-huh. I liked them. I gotta find them. I did have a question on one of them, like June, always before they're this big and June's this big. What
Tiny.
would that have been? I don't have them in front of me. I'll have to find them.
Are you looking
Oh,
at
here it is.
receipts?
Here it is. I'm looking at
Pay or receipts?
payroll expenses. Why were payroll expenses in June compared to the previous years? See what I'm talking about? Yep.
Sync up. Right.
Okay.
Oh, I got the 3D stuff. I do like that. She asked.
And she knows we looked at them now.
Yeah.
Because I know she's thinking, do I do this? And they even, but do they even
No,
look
I
at this
do. I
stuff?
like it.
Yeah, we do. Although they probably don't ever ask that about us. I did notice some new cover pages, like July 8th to August 2nd accounts payable. I noticed those. Explain those to us. Okay. I liked it. If you really think about it, the amount of money that we paid in a month's time is amazing. Amazing.
I have one on this is probably a Dan question. Dan, the chairs for the football stadium that you had talked to me about, and they're now coming encumbered, they're coming through. Are these gonna be able to be saved and continue and used forward? Okay. Okay. Right. Right.
Well, the grandstand would be.
Right. But we, okay, but I mean, this is the purchase that we had talked about, that in the off season, they'll be removed, stored, we'll be able to use this forward for quite a length of time. Throughout wherever? Okay. I don't think I had any more on the report. I do though on the consent agenda itself.
Milton, I think she gave you a heads up about curriculum. Can you tell me where we're at on that curriculum? I think it was language arts. Perfect. And I hear you've been going after curriculum.
We had delivery driver to your.
That
Yeah.
is, well, that's commendable. I thank you for that. I do. And I know the teachers have got to be thrilled about getting their hands on it, even though it's school starting time.
Jennifer, did you want to explain the change order that I came in to talk to you about? Okay, so for this of what you and I talked about, you weren't sure what the added expense was. So it's not that it's a change in pricing, it's a change in additional product. Good. I'm glad that we're not going to have that battle. Okay. And then the 270 is just a mistake. We just need to remove it or omit it. Well, I have one more. On 19G, this is probably, Pam, is this a you question? So specifically on the program description, because this goes back to the question I was asking you and the questions I get, that the concerns about the curriculum that's basically on our behalf, but they're teaching it and it's under the supervision and everything is Southwest Youth and Family Services. It specifically says, in the unique class, lessons on the basic elements of art and principles of design are woven with life lessons on responsibility, bullying, gangs, peer pressure, relationships, values, communication, stress, anxiety, life skills, problem solving, culture, anger, character, alcohol, and other drugs and manners. So that's the curriculum that I would like some clarification on, because if they're teaching it and they're doing it, what is it that they're actually teaching? Okay. Sure. 100%. And I agree. I don't want it to be presumed as it's a negative. Just when I'm asked, because there's a lot of things on the social landscape out there that people are asking, I can't just go to them and say, well, it's the same thing we've been doing for 5 years. So I would just like to have a little more detail on those specific areas. And I don't want to put it in front of the, big priorities that we have going into the beginning of school or impede the program at all. But I would like to know or have, email it, whatever it is. So that way, or I can come in and visit with you, that I can go back and have some answers. Thank you. I think that's all of mine in me.
I'm sure, as usual, the travel, we're approving one that's passed. So need to get them in faster.
Was that discussed at the coaches meeting?
Yes, it was. So, this was, it was their yearly August conference.
I move that we accept the consent agenda or approve the consent agenda.
Second, Alan.
Motion Cliff, second Allen. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
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 We can wait on him.
He's watching and laughing. Yes. Yes. Okay, number 20, discussion of possible action regarding proposed executive session to discuss employment, hiring, or resignations of individual salary public officers or employees listed on Exhibit A, Executive Session Authority, Oklahoma State, Title 25-307B1. I move that we convene an executive session.
Second, Alan.
Motion Cliff, second Allen. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. 7:51.
got?
Oh, I can't do that yet, can
A
I?
little too
Or do
early.
I? Let's get back to an agenda.
Number 21.
I gotta go backwards. Hang on. I don't know how to.
I actually kept it. Don't ask me how I kept it. Oh, I didn't close it. That was what Lori said. Don't close your
Okay,
Chromebook.
I went into special exhibit. How do I get out of it?
I'm about ready to help the president.
My whole sheet is there. How do I get back?
Well, how did you get to that?
Is that not it?
I died.
You died. So that was that.
Acknowledge return. I do read this. The board entered into executive session at 7:51 PM to discuss the hiring, resignations, and retirements of individual salary public officers or employees listed on Exhibit A as authorized by 25 OS Section 307B1. Those present in executive session were Robin Morse, Kara Gertis, Christy Clift, Laurie Allen, and Superintendent Rick Crosland. No action was taken by the Board of Ed. The board returned to open session at 9:07.
30 past bedtime.
22, discussion of possible action regarding the hiring of individuals listed on Exhibit A.
So I am Tanya Roberts at this.
I move that we hire the individuals on Exhibit A with the exception of Tanya Roberts.
Second, Gertis.
I have a motion from Clift and a second from Gertis. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item 23, discussion and possible action regarding the transfer reassignment workday adjustments for the individuals listed on Exhibit A.
I move that we approve the transfer and reassignments listed on Exhibit A.
Second, Ellen.
Motion Cliff, second Allen. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
Do 24. I don't think we need to do 25.
We're doing 23. We're in the middle of roll call. Finish up.
Yes, sorry, he was talking to me. It's distracting me.
Yes. Okay, now 24, discussion of possible action regarding resignation of individuals listed on Exhibit A.
I move we accept the resignations of individuals listed on Exhibit A.
Second, Ellen.
Motion Cliff, second Allen. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item 25, I don't believe we had any
Are there any retirements, Pam?
retirements
I don't think
listed
so.
on Exhibit A. 26 is new business.
None.
No new business. 27 is motion
Kara.
to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second, Allen. Motion
Certainly a
Cliff,
motion.
Gertis, second Allen. Any discussion?
No.
None.
Roll call.
If you do, I'm gonna.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely yes.
Crosland votes yes.